What's up and welcome to Party Invite, where we invite you to a gaming community of inclusiveness and diversity. Your party members today are Thomas Egan.
Yo, 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 yo.
Carlos Gomez.
Hey, you.
Hi. Debbie Hill.
Hello.
And I'm your party leader, Chris Mowry. We have a lot to get to on this episode, but I want to do some quick housekeeping first. Thank you to everyone who joined us for our Game Awards watch party. I know we all had a lot of fun, so thank you so much for hanging out with us.
That was a great way to watch the awards.
Oh, it was so much fun. I also want to mention that these beers are sus. Check these out. We have a collaboration going with Crane Brewing Company for some limited run 4-packs of their beers that can be picked up at the tap room in Raytown, aka Raytona Beach, this week from Wednesday through Friday for $10. 10% of sales will go to Extra Life, the gaming charity for children, and we'll also be taking donations during our live stream of Among Us on Saturday, twitch.tv/partyinviteshow, and that'll be at 7 p.m.
Yep, on December 19th.
December 19th, that is correct. So join us there, help out a good cause, and go get some delicious beer from the folks over at Crane Brewing. I haven't played Among Us, so this will be fun. I need to do that this weekend before we do this event, because I don't want to be learning on the fly. That'll not be bueno.
Just go listen to that Megaran Kadesh Flow song that I linked.
Yes.
You look sus, and
you look sus.
Yeah, you'll basically know how to play after that.
Well, perfect. We'll do that. Without any further ado, let's get into what we've been playing. Carlos, it says here you've been playing a little bit of Cyberpunk.
I've been playing a little bit of Cyberpunk. As far as changes from last week, not a whole lot. Age of Calamity, Fire Emblem, the OG, and Cyberpunk for sure. Fire Emblem, it's a super old game, and it feels like it. But if you're into the typical Fire Emblem strategy, definitely I'd say pick it up. It's a really nice thing to just play in bed on the Switch.
What did it originally come out on?
The NES.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a couple updates to it, so it feels a little bit better than I'm sure it did way back then. But oh man, it feels like going back and playing the original Final Fantasy. Like, it's a slog.
Yeah.
But overall, you're like, you know what? This is still fond. Like, I'm fond of the idea of playing this. And then, of course,
I feel like that with a lot of stuff. It's like, I like the idea of that, and I'll let you play it.
Yep.
I will absorb the nostalgia by proxy.
Right. And then we get to the newest of the new, the shiny Cyberpunk.
The new.
Yeah. I'm having a good time with it. I haven't done a whole lot in it yet, but definitely saw some fun glitches. I've had to restart countless times. I've had straight up freezes, I think 4 or 5 times over 2 playthroughs, where I actually had to completely restart the game, and thankfully the autosave saved like right before it. But nonetheless, it's one of those games that you want to power through anyway.
Oh, I don't know about powering through. I'm gonna be in there a while. Like, I'm gonna be in there a long time.
Yeah, I mean the glitches are not stopping me from enjoying it, because there's so much to love there.
Yeah, you guys are all hearing this for the second time since we had a recording mess up, but I had a really weird glitch today where the analog sticks on my controller just cut out. Everything else on the controller was working, but for some reason now the analog sticks wouldn't work. I could use WASD on my PC to do that and move around still. So if I wanted to play with mouse and keyboard, I could. But I basically had to close down the game, restart it in order for it to work again. Luckily, the game loads very fast on my PC, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But Carlos, you've been playing it on your Xbox One X, right?
Yes, I've been playing on the One X, and I've gotten a lot of people on my Facebook page and stuff like that being like, so how is it? And I'm like, just don't get it for any of the OG systems. Just
yeah.
If
you have a
come
PC, buy
to
it
see
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I've come to notice that the One X has a hell of a lot more power than the original Xbox One. So
Right.
it's I've noted so many differences um, in other games, and this being, like I said before, the newest, shiniest game. If you're not on the newest, shiniest console, it's gonna be much lesser of an experience for you. Um, but also before this came out, I realized the uh, for like Control and Quantum Break,
Right.
it's very important if you haven't heard it before to change the visual settings, and it might get you a little bit of a performance boost. So um, taking motion blur off and a couple other options in the settings, I definitely suggest doing that. It'll at least run a little bit smoother for you until the next update fixes a few more things.
Yeah. And I think that people are being pretty harsh about this. Luckily, I mean, we didn't play the demo or the review version that didn't have the day one patch or any of that stuff, so it could have been much more buggy. But this isn't a new thing, like a game coming out and being buggy. Does anybody remember Skyrim, like not working at all on a PlayStation 3? There's multiple examples of a game not working the way it was intended. No Man's Sky, like that game was not good when it came out.
Assassin's Creed Unity, man.
Oh, Assassin's Creed Unity. Yeah, there's multiple examples. Yeah. This game has just been hyped so much. People are so excited for it. And just a PSA for anyone that's listening or watching this, do not pre-order games. Don't do it. You have no idea what it's going to be like. I get that you want the shiny collector's edition, whatever, but like it just doesn't make any sense. I get the game on day one just like you do, and I know where to buy it and not have a problem. Ooh, that looks nice.
What is it? The Cyberpunk one?
It's a Cyberpunk Steelbook.
Ooh,
shiny.
All right.
Discs.
Shiny.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
the 2-disc part actually makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah, it's
like, I like pre-ordering games that I feel I have good faith will provide the product that I'm pre-ordering for. So like Nintendo products usually are kind of like a pre-order for me, but closer to the launch day rather than like day one.
Yeah.
Because I want to get a feel for it more to see if I like it.
I just
I mean, there are people that pre-ordered Cyberpunk like what 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
But that's not smart and never has been a smart move. What if the game gets canceled? You know, like of course, they'll refund you, and I'm sure they've refunded some people now. But I just think like if you weren't paying attention before the launch of this game, the most anticipated launch of any game this year, and you weren't paying attention to that, no console versions went out for any sort of testing ever. It was always PC, and during all the reviews, they were talking like, "Hey, maybe wait." Especially if you're on console, and people still bought it and are still upset. Like I'm like, guys, you got to pay attention. You just got like, I understand that if you pre-ordered it a long time ago, then you're SOL. But like, that's the only reason I bought it for PC is because I knew it would be all right. You know, like I wasn't about to buy it for PlayStation 4 and be sitting here going, "Oh man, this sucks." I knew better, I guess.
But you know, those 8 million other people decided to pre-order.
Yeah, they did turn a profit in like one day, which is crazy for a game that is that large and is very expensive. And something too, when playing it on PC, I can't believe that it even runs on those older consoles. Like seeing what it's doing, the textures, all that. There's so much going on. Like there's so much that has to load in anytime you're in an area. It is like, it's incredibly impressive. When you're in there, everything feels alive. Even if you're noticing like somebody is like walking down the street and they bump into somebody else and they just turn around and start walking the other direction. Everything still feels alive. Like there's all these little conversations going on around you. And yeah, it's got its bugs, but I don't think it's any worse than like a Fallout 4 was, or a Skyrim was, or any of that kind of stuff. GTA 5, like I'm pretty sure was pretty buggy when it first started. There's still GTA 5 bugs that are hilarious, and that game's been out for years. Same with Skyrim. So yeah, I don't feel...
Well, in Skyrim, they're not bugs, they're features.
That's right.
Yeah, it's that Bethesda
Exactly.
charm that's featured in there. I just feel like the CD Projekt people are getting like dragged for this game, and I'm like, personally, my experience playing it on PC, they should be applauded for what they're doing. Like, it's pretty incredible. I'm
Well, they're profitable, so they're making money, baby.
That's true. To be honest, like I'm in deep. I only play with my headphones on, plugged in. You know, like I'm in it.
You're jacked
Chris, that's
in.
not the game. He's like, jack in.
I'm jacked in for sure. Yeah, that game I love it personally. It's gonna be probably easily my depending on how the story plays out, just underneath The Last of Us 2 for me as far as games this year. But I know that's my personal taste. I haven't really experienced some of the gripes that people had with like really cheesy dialogue, or like, if you don't drink this drink, then fuck you. Like, I haven't really experienced much of that. I've seen some ads and stuff around that are like, oh, that's a little iffy, but yeah, I haven't really experienced any of those, or maybe that's just a taste thing. There's some dialogue that's a little cheesy, but overall, I think there's meaningful characters being built here. I can't wait to see how they turn out. And these are people just on the peripherals, you know, that aren't main characters. And I went Street Kid. What did you go, Carlos?
I also went Street Kid. Yeah. And that's the funny thing about it, is just how you're describing the world of it. There's just so much that it would have to literally be a game breaking bug for it to affect me in any way, shape, or form. I've had 4 or 5 freezes where I had to restart, and it took a little bit of my time, and I was annoyed, but I was still like, this atmosphere, this world is worth checking out. And I noticed, like, when I'm trying to get the 90th little like file thing, I forget what they're called, but I'm picking up a file randomly in a little closet or something, and I'll look down and there's a sunburst looking light. It looks like it's supposed to be a hole in the roof or something coming down and bringing a ray of light, but no, it's just like a sunburst of light on the floor. That makes no sense at all how it got there. It's an obvious glitch, and I'm still like, yeah, it's okay.
It looks nice. That
I'll get
sunburst
through
looks
it.
great.
Yeah.
There's some stuff, and I think they might have fixed it with this latest patch. I was playing today and played for like 4 or 5 hours today, I think, and halfway through that they released a patch. So I was playing the game unpatched and was having a blast doing it. There's some very weird stuff that may be immersion breaking for some people. Like, I'll be having a conversation with somebody, and like for a second it'll pop up and say that they're calling me, and I'm like, no, they're not. I'm talking to them. And then it goes, oh nope, sorry, never mind. So there's some weird stuff like that. Like, there's just, I think the scope of this game and everything that they're trying to do is really hard and difficult. Like, if everybody could do this, they would, but they can't. This is like, CD Projekt is great at building worlds, and this is what they've done here. And it may not be exactly what some people wanted right at the beginning, but I mean, Witcher 3 came out and ran poorly on consoles for a while. And then it turns out to be like one of the greatest games of the generation. So maybe slow up a little bit and just take a breather, wait it out if you haven't already got it. Because I think the game's great. And it's a bummer that it got pushed back so many times, but it clearly needed to. And probably should have gotten pushed back even farther. Probably should have done, hey, we're going to release on PC and PlayStation 5 and Xbox One X. No, Series X. God damn it. Series X now, and then in 2 weeks you'll get the other version, like the older version. I think that would have been the way to go, but I'm sure that somebody at CD Projekt Red was like, we can't do that. Like, you can't split it up. We just got to release it and deal with it. And
I
clearly,
mean, we still don't even know what multiplayer is going to be.
so they
That's
yeah.
See, that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm waiting for. I really want to get I want to get it right now. I want it. I need it. But multiplayer aspects are like the biggest selling point for me on a game, even in a single player experience, which is why I'm really excited about like Ghost of Tsushima Legends, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
So that is what gets me to buy a single player game. It's like, oh, I can play this portion of it with my friends. Okay, well, let me play through the campaign and get to learn all about the lore and the story and the world and be immersed in that way. And then join my friends so that we can all live in that world together.
And
that's my favorite thing.
That's its own standalone thing from what I'm understanding about what they're doing with that. And that's probably not coming out for at least a year, maybe. Because they still have to put out like the PS5 and Xbox Series X optimized versions of this. If you're playing it on those, you're just playing the PS4 version just at a higher rate, which apparently is running pretty okay for people, closer to a PC. But yeah, if you just have a PS4 or an older computer, maybe wait a little bit. But I think it's fantastic, and people on the internet are brutal, man. They need to sometimes just need to take it easy. We saw this with The Last of Us 2, where it just got a little too crazy. It's like, yo, chill.
And come on, you gotta forgive because of the dick glitches. I mean,
oh, the dick glitches, yeah.
Those are not glitches, honey.
Carlos, how big is your dick in the game? Did you go?
I did.
Wow, context is so important.
Default,
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I did go default
Same.
because it's just like, you know what, I'm not gonna give myself too much credit or too little.
Circumcised
Just
or
gonna be
uncircumcised?
There.
Wow, you're
That
getting
one's a little more personal.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So now you're
sorry.
gonna have to subscribe. You're gonna have to subscribe.
That's right.
That's the only fans.
Cyber Junk 2077.
Hey.
Yes.
I haven't had any experiences with any of that stuff either. Like I haven't had any of the relationship stuff pop up yet. You could just go pay for it from whoever, but I haven't done any of that stuff yet. There's a lot, and it doesn't unlock the way that most open worlds do, where it's like a fog, and you got to kind of open things up, and then stuff populates. As soon as you get into that open world, it goes, here's a million fucking icons, figure it out. And it has taken me, I'd have to check my game timer now. I'm probably 10 or so hours, but it took me a while to get the journal down and figure out how to find my side gigs and do these other things. And there's just so much on the screen when you look at the map. It is a little overwhelming, I will say, but don't worry, you don't have to do any of that stuff. You could just mainline the story if you want. It doesn't matter. You could totally do that. But if you want to,
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, you could just mainline, and that's only, I've heard you could beat it in like 20 or so hours if you just mainline. But there's like that developer who said, or that person who worked on the game said he was 156 hours in and hadn't gotten to the end yet. Because it's kind of what you make of it. Like in all RPGs, I heard this as a knock before. The urgency of the main story makes people go, I just got to do that, because if I don't, then no, that's not how any of them work. Go do all the side shit and then get to the, I get that it doesn't make sense, quote unquote, to divert from the main story path when it's like, you got to do this or this is going to be bad.
So it's not like Deus Ex, like Human Revolution, where everything is timed, and if you miss it, then you like just miss it.
No,
there's a few things that you can miss, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, there's not much. Like, there's always those times when you get to people and they're like, "Hey, do you want to go do this now, or do you want to do other stuff for a little while?" And I'm sure there's like some story things, like if in the not the epilogue, the prelude or the prologue. Thank you. Good Lord. Your brain's not working. So in the prologue, I'm sure there's probably stuff that I missed maybe for just not veering off the path a little bit. But I was just like, well, this, I sort of already kind of knew that there was like a prologue, and I kind of want to get through that and then get into the open world. I want to give me the story set up, give me all of that lore and all of that character, and then once I get through the prologue, get me in that open world, and I'll start doing all the side jobs and all that kind of shit. But
Right.
you
It's a
learn
lot.
from the first mission. You learn from the first mission that the whole point is your reputation.
Yeah.
So it's like if my character has to build a reputation, then I'm gonna build the reputation. That means I'm gonna go through all these quests, right? And it has some sort of effect on the ending, obviously. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, if you truly care about your V character, then that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna do those side quests and be the best you can be.
Well, and as your street cred levels up, you unlock other gigs to do. Like certain things are not available for you to do right away. You have to kind of get up the street cred in order to unlock a certain fixer or talk to a certain character and all those kind of things. Like,
And of course, you need money to fix your body up. I mean,
yeah,
upgrades.
Oh, really?
that's the thing that I've been like, I got to start doing some of these side gigs because I don't have any money. I need to get some more money, get that money up. So I've been doing that. I've been running around doing a bunch of side gigs, doing some hits and things to get more money. Because usually when you do that, you're getting paid by the person who told you to go do it. But while you're in the cool area, because each one of these is like its own like little place. It's not like I go kill one person at this bar and then later on I go back to that same bar and do it again. Like it's a completely different, thing. But when you're going through there, there's like safes and all these other things to open up, and so you're getting more money than just what the fixer promised you. It's great. I could talk about this game for hours, so we could move on to what some other people have been playing. Thomas, what have you been getting into?
Oh gosh, same old. Honestly, I don't have a lot of new stuff to report. I am further along in The Last of Us. I was really hoping to beat it by the Game Awards. I didn't, but the only thing that would have been spoiled, we did see, like the thing that was shown.
That's good.
So yeah, so I'm happy about that. I'm looking forward to finishing that game. There's no way to go through that game quickly the way I'm trying to play. I will say, talking and thinking a lot about this game over the past week, I still stand by what I've said. I think Hades should have been Game of the Year. Well, it's my Game of the Year. Because while The Last of Us is very good in a lot of ways, the gameplay loop of it just has a little bit too much searching around for resources. And the issue is, yeah, I could just not search around as much and problem solved. But if I don't, then I'm going to miss like critical things, like critical upgrades that are very important to have. So I wish that resource, the scavenging part, was about 20% quicker than it actually is. Because I wish the game was progressing a little bit more quickly. I just can't seem to make it go any faster.
It is a lot longer than you think it is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I felt the same way in God of War. Part of that was because I was playing on such a hard difficulty that everything took a long time. I'm in a funny spot where I still wish I could play on a harder difficulty but still progress quickly, because I've at several times I'm playing on hard and there are two difficulties above me. I think there's like survival above me, and then oh man, I got sirens going on.
Sirens on our end. Yep.
Did you say survival? Okay.
Yeah, I want it to be a little bit tougher because, especially at the part of the game, without trying to avoid spoilers, I'm at a part of the game where it's definitely you're very strong. Like I'm never out of ammo. I'm never out of anything. I'm just constantly winning all my fights. Not to say that they're like easy fights, but the game's just giving me all the resources to win. So I'm using them. But I wish the game was a little bit harder, but if I did that, it would take me even longer to get through. And I just want to see the end. I can't decide if I will replay this when I beat it. If I do, it'll probably be a long time from now. But anyway, that's a very good game. I'm excited to see the end of it. But yeah, I still stand by Hades is my Game of the Year. I really, really thought I was going to beat Hades last weekend. I had such a good run going. It didn't work out.
It happens.
I
Me
want
too.
to see you play this on stream.
Well, I have everything to do that now. I have a capture card and
Yay!
all my
I'm so
episodes.
excited.
So, now I just need to hook it up. So,
Let me
yeah,
know
I'm
if you
looking
need help
forward
with
to that.
that. I'll help you. I got
I will need help with that. That's definite. So yeah, I'd like to do that because I keep progressing in that game, and I just love it so much. I love it as a palate cleansing game. Just when I'm like, I don't know what I want to play, but I have about 45 minutes, or a binging game, or put that on while we're watching some like a TV show. Because normally I have trouble focusing on both, kind of.
Right.
But Hades is nice enough that like it doesn't require intense focus or extended focus. Like you can always pause at any second.
Right.
You know, and even if you set the game down and go eat a meal and come back or something, you can always check your stats and see exactly the information you need to see. Yeah. So those are the two games I'm playing. I really like them both. I have Cyberpunk installed on my PS5, which will make it the first PS5
Hell
game
yeah.
I've played. I've been watching Lizzie play a bunch of Miles Morales. She's is playing it right now, or was a few minutes ago.
It's great.
That game's awesome.
At
That
least
game,
you got it for PS5, the Cyberpunk. So your journey's not like an arc.
Yeah. So I am excited to have the hardware I want to be playing that on, because sure, I kind like if I had a sick PC, it'd be cool to play it on there. But I like playing with controller anyway, so I'm happy that I have the PS5 to play on.
I'm
That
playing
said-
with controller.
Yeah, and I know you can just plug it in and it'll be the same thing. But I am still probably not going to play Cyberpunk until I've beaten The Last of Us, so I probably won't play it till next week. Hopefully, I will have beaten The Last of Us by the next time we record. But
And
we'll
you'll have
see.
some more updates for the game, so you won't have as many glitches and things like that. It'll be great.
Yes,
Fingers crossed,
I'm
yeah.
really that's just another reason I'm not in a big hurry. I don't think I'm worried about getting spoiled on anything, at least not yet.
There's not.
Yeah.
If you've watched
There's so
any,
much.
I mean, it's an
if-
open world game. What are
if
you
you've
going
watched
to spoil?
any of the trailers, or watched as many of them as I have, I knew story beats were coming because most of the stuff we've all seen has been in the prologue. So, I kind of knew what was coming. I was like, oh, this is okay. So this is the part where blah 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 and blah, this like, but I never felt like it was spoiled for me. If that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I knew where things
Yeah.
were sort of going until I didn't, you know, and then I was like, oh shit. But it's
Now you know how I feel when when we were watching the Game Awards. You were just like, I have news from the future.
Yes. yes. I will say something that you said about palate cleansing. I didn't experience that with Cyberpunk. Like I haven't felt like I need to play something else. Like if anything, I'm thinking about while I'm playing it, I'm thinking, man, I wonder what it would be like if I was like a female corpo and how that would change what's going on. And then like
Well,
wanting to
I'll be
play
able to
another
tell you
playthrough.
because, yeah, I'm actually going to make a female corpo as my first character.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Fine. I guess I have to choose a new path when I get the game then.
Yeah, I'm really looking
Capitalism.
forward to that. Chris, I can relate to what you're saying about like I don't really get tired of games. The only reason I would switch a game is if logistically, like now I've got my PS4 staying here in my stream setup so that I just don't
Right.
have to mess with moving stuff
Mhm.
because I already unplugged the PS5 once while it was on. That didn't feel good.
Nope.
So I'm trying to avoid moving that as much as I can. But yeah, I just don't get tired of games. I just get so excited. And, the only issue is like I don't have enough time. Even in 2020, where I'm at home all day, every day, I still don't have enough time to play all the stuff I want. You're talking about the map opening up on Cyberpunk, and that's reminding me when I played Skyrim. The first weekend it came out, my roommate in college left town. He went back home for the weekend, and I had the house, the TV, the Xbox, Skyrim all to myself, and I played that game nonstop. I played it for like 30 hours in one weekend on
My
on
goodness.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I had a really good time. And so what I did, was I just pulled up the map because I remember being so excited about the map that you get in the case when you bought the physical copy, because there are only physical copies of that game, I think. Don't quote me on that, please. I remember getting the map and I was so excited about it. I was like, oh, just look at all these possibilities. Like, I love seeing this physical map and being like, oh man, I wonder what's over here. Like, ooh, these are mountains over here. Oh, this is everything's snowy and icy over here. And so what I did is, instead of like following any storyline or anything like that, I straight up was just like, I wonder what's in the woods over there. And I started making my way towards what I found to be Falkreath in Skyrim. And so I just discovered every single point of interest in that whole area. And I mean, I spent like 10 hours in that area. But it was so cool because after I had spent enough time in there, it felt like that was like my home in Skyrim. And even when I play the game now, that area of the map is like my go-to spot where I'm like, all right, I know this place. Like, it wasn't Whiterun. I in my entire first playthrough, I never even went to Solitude a single time, which is wild to think about because that's like the capital city of all of Skyrim. But I'm so excited to pull up that map like you described and just be like, you know what? Forget all this. That's a really cool looking building. That's going to be my hangout zone.
Well, you won't see that exactly, but there'll be icons everywhere, and most of them will tell you what is over there, except for some that'll be like, who knows what this is. Also, you can also run into enemies that are just, you shouldn't be there. They'll have skulls over their head. Like, you shouldn't talk to these people right now because that would go bad. That would go very bad for you.
Actually, the best thing is how the neighborhoods interact is crazy. Like, it's like you're actually going into a like gangland territory. You can just be walking around the city and some shit goes down and you're like, oh, okay, this is how my
I mean,
day's
that's just
going.
Casey Moe in general.
You're just
honestly.
like hearing gunfire just like right outside your apartment, and you kind of like look out and you see shit going down. Like,
yeah,
it is.
like, should I run to it?
More social commentary.
And so far I've heard a knock on that too of like, is it really trying to say anything? To me, early on, it's totally said some things about stuff that is important and smart, but it's not just go shoot up stuff. They're at least so far the writing is trying to do something a little deeper than just, this is Cyberpunk, go fuck shit up. So excited to see where that
I'm
goes.
so sick of like shock jock culture in video games. So I'm glad to hear that the writing is at least substantial.
I mean, that's there for sure. Like, it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I walked past a dildo store. I didn't buy anything, but it was in there, and I could go buy stuff.
Find them.
How dare you? Like,
You will
it's a
find
business.
them
It's a
all
small
over the
local
world.
business.
Yeah, apparently you find them all over the world. I haven't picked any up,
It's really funny.
or I sold them and I didn't notice.
I found like 6 of them in 1 hour. So.
Well, it sounds like you were looking for him, honestly.
Oh, totally. It is one of those things, though. They manufacture so many cool story beats. Like, you see them in some load screens starting the game. You hear like radio chatter, and then every time you get into the elevator going home, there's a late show
A TV
going
show
at the same time, and it's
cool.
fantastic.
Oh, I love that. I love that when Mass Effect had the elevators where you're like, yeah, this is just a disguised load screen, but you talk about cool stuff that I either should do or did do.
You're never going to finish this game, Thomas, because there is
I'm never going to finish it.
there is so much just to look at.
It's your life now.
Like,
It's your life now.
so many times, like, people were talking to me, and I'm just like looking around, looking all up, like looking at all the buildings, like, this is fucking crazy. And the guy's like, hey, why haven't you answered me? And I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I was looking around the room.
They do get onto you. It's so funny.
Yeah, they're like, hey, what's your problem? What are you thinking about? And you're like, oh, sorry, I was thinking about how
He's
fucking
sitting there
cool
like
this
boxing
looks.
with a gun, like.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, we keep getting back onto Cyberpunk, and that's not my intention. But Devi, what have you been playing?
I've actually been playing a lot of Cyberpunk. No, I'm just kidding.
This is a brand new thing.
Unfortunately, I am the only member so far with no plans to immediately get Cyberpunk because, bitch be po. So, I have been currently focusing my efforts elsewhere. I've picked up Streets of Rage 4 again, so that's a lot of fun. Streets of Rage 4 is a part of my one of my favorite series, and beat 'em ups in general are my favorite genre. But it's just such a love letter to the original Streets of Rage. It's so good. It plays so well, and the art style is fantastic, and the music I listen to literally every time I boot up Overwatch, I have the OST for Streets of Rage on.
That's
Which I have been playing. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch. Last night after our stream, because this is again being recorded the day after our Game Awards ceremony stream, I hopped onto Overwatch after we got done playing Rogue Company and did pretty well in competitive play. And people were generally nice. It was so weird. I was like, is this Overwatch day one? Why are people being like? I was speaking over the microphone like with no fear and everything, and nobody was like, "It's a girl! It's a girl!" What's going Dude, who's your favorite?
Congratulations.
Who's your favorite character? What's their age? What is the tattoo that they have on their left butt cheek? Like,
right.
there was like no gatekeeping or anything at all. It was amazing, and we won a lot.
Nice.
Cool.
That's great.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yay for non-toxic communities.
I like the role queue system is really cool. So they have certain perks for picking a role over another role. Like for instance, if you play a tank for the first time, you'll get a loot box just for playing a tank. And I think that's just to encourage more people to try out more roles and stop being like such a one trick, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So I always queue up for DPS and support, but I only got support last night, and it was actually kind of relaxing. I know that people think that support is kind of like a passive role, but really it's the most active role because you have life and death in your hand. You control when people live and die.
For sure.
So, very gladiatrix, dominatrix going on. It's cool. It's fine. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time, and it also helped that I had some liquid influence.
There you go. Some courage.
Some courage. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. As well, I'm also playing a lot of Ninjala.
Of course.
Of course.
Do you like that game?
Only a little bit. Only a little bit. And I do have some news. By the time I can't say anything right now on my various platforms, but by the time this comes out, it will be okay because I'll have like signed all the NDAs and everything. But I'm gonna be a Gung Ho ambassador.
Yeah.
I just got the email for it today. So I will be a Ninjala ambassador, fully sponsored and everything. It's gonna be so fun.
Awesome.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm so excited. I don't know if you guys are noticing like my different facial expressions, and sometimes I went on mute. It's because I was corresponding with one of the staff members. So
Nice.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
That's great.
Would you say that
Awesome.
news is a world premiere?
World premiere.
As much as I love that world premiere guy, I like the last year's better. Wasn't it? It was a woman last year, right? Was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Honestly,
And she was all like,
You might be right.
world premiere. Like, super. I was like,
that
okay,
does
well,
that does
I'm
sound
listening.
right.
I mean, it happened one year. I'm not going to say it's last
Yeah.
year. It happened one year. Bring her back. I want her. But that's it. That's all. That's all on my thing. I look forward to bringing more Ninjala goodness to you. Officially sponsored by them. So, yay me.
Hell yeah.
Nice. That's super
Heck
awesome.
Yay.
Of course, I've been playing Cyberpunk. We talked a bunch about that already, but I've also played two other things. I've been playing Miles Morales, Spidey-Man's. That game is fucking awesome. I'm actually connecting with it in a way I didn't connect to the original Spider-Man game. I feel like I'm more invested in the story. I'm more invested in the big bad. I like the big bad much more in this. I'm just overall enjoying the whole package, even though it's a smaller one, much more than I enjoyed. Thank you. Much more than I did the original Spider-Man game, which I was kind of shocked by. I wasn't really prepared for that, but it's great. I don't know when I'm going to get back to it just because I'm so sucked into Cyberpunk right now. But I got my Into the Spider-Verse suit. It's so cool. It's really rad what they do with that. I'm interested to see where the story goes in it more than I was the other game. Basically, when in the other Spider-Man game, when basically the whole city was against you, like all the police and all the private police just like started attacking you as you were swinging through the city. I was like, I'm done with this because the whole fun of this game is swinging around and doing this. And when every swing I take, there's another guy like locking a rocket onto me. I'm like, this is too much.
Bowser just got to that part too. Like, all of the prisoners are just broken out of the jail or whatever, and then all of the Sable operatives are like literally sitting on roofs of the buildings with like beep, beep, beep. RPGs just sitting there, and I'm like,
it sucks.
How are you supposed to go anywhere? And he's actually having a lot of fun beating everybody up. So power to him.
I just eventually got to a point where I was like, I think I've had my fill of this story. I feel like I kind of know where it's going. Whereas with Miles, I'm like, I have no idea, and I can't wait to find out. You know. I've heard some people got.
And they,
oh, go ahead.
In Miles Morales, they did some really clever ways of taking things that you'd expect, especially if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, and flipping them around.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciated. There was something else. There was for The Last of Us. There was a trailer that came out. I'm not going to say which one it was, but it was kind of like when the Avengers Endgame stuff came out, and you like saw something in the trailer, but then when you actually watch the movie, you're like, oh, they tricked me. They made me think XYZ was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was some of this, but it's actually a different thing going on.
Yep.
And I'm seeing that in Miles Morales, where some of the characters you're like, oh, okay, I know you. I know what's going to happen. And it doesn't do that. It knows what you are expecting. It knows that you think you know what it is, especially as like a casual person like me. I haven't read any of the comics. You know, I've only seen the movies and stuff. I really appreciate that when, you know, it can really bring in people who are either filthy casuals like me, or you know, old vets, Spidey vets. But that stuff's great. Lizzie was laughing at some of the civilian dialogue earlier. She's swinging around the city, and somebody's like, "Where's the other Spider-Man?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. I'm surprised it didn't get a little more love at Game Awards, or you know, in something. I just feel like because it is almost like a DLC, it's its own thing, but it's almost like just an add-on to. It's more Spider-Man, right?
It's an expansion pack.
But it does enough that it can stand on its own, and I think it should. And I feel like maybe some people didn't pick it up or something like that, but you should give it a chance because it's really, really great. Something else that I played is Sackboy's Big Adventure. Now I'm the go-to mascot platformer guy apparently in this group, but this might be better than Crash. I'm pretty sure it is.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. From what I've played of it, I like it more than Crash Bandicoot. It's a lot easier and just more fun. This is something that I basically... My girlfriend Devin doesn't play video games. She plays Mario Party 4 for GameCube. That's the game she likes.
4.
Mario Party
Gotta get
4?
some 8 in there.
When Mario Party 3 exists? Okay, all right.
She likes, well, she has 4, and she like has it memorized. She knows exactly where to go and what to do in every map and board of the game. But so she doesn't play a lot of games. So I was like, hey, would you play this like Mario type game with me? I've just heard it's a lot more fun when you play in co-op. And she's like, yeah, sure. So we played Sackboy's Big Adventure, set it up out in the living room, and we sat there and played for a few hours. And I was like kind of unsure if she was really digging it. And then we went into like this like question mark room to like unlock something. And we couldn't figure it out. And I was like, all right, well, we can go. And she's like, no, we got to figure it out before we go. And I was like, all right, they've hooked her. They do a really great job of like being able to customize what your sack looks like. Just like Cyberpunk 2077. But your sack boy or your sack girl, you unlock outfits and different things you can switch and put on to make them look different. So you feel like your little character is your own, and that you're building upon that as you go. That's something I'm probably going to play mostly with her if I can. It's a really fun time. I'm like pretty surprised how much I'm into it. I just think that the crafted world kind of thing. I liked what it was, the Kirby game for Wii that was amazing. Kirby's
Epic Yarn. Or...
Epic Yarn. Yes.
Epic Yarn. Okay. Yeah.
Loved Epic Yarn. I was going to say Yoshi's Woolly World, but I didn't play that one. But those kind of things have a charm to them that are great. And this, like with the cardboard backgrounds and everything, it's fantastic. And if you have kids, you should totally buy this game because it's easy enough for them. But like something for me, like when Devin and I were playing, we maybe wouldn't get all the orbs in the level. And then so that gave me something to do later before Cyberpunk came out, was to go back and try to get all the orbs in the level. So I think it's a ton of fun. There's some great music in it, like Toxic's in it, Uptown Funk's in it. And the music, just the original music is awesome. And that was something that in Crash, I was like, this music's fine, it's whatever. But to me, a great platformer has to have just fun music to listen to while you're running around with your friends or while you're running and jumping. This has that in spades. It's so good. Really,
that's why
really
a lot of the N64 collectathons are really successful too, because Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, they all had that really memorable music.
Yeah.
And so still today you'll hear people humming it or having them as ringtones or things like that. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and that's something I would say that Crash didn't do great. They have the New Orleans level that's really good, but yeah, I heard some people I think, and this is showing how much I just don't agree with Giant Bomb anymore. I listen to their podcast every day or every time they release one, but they're too much it's okay, all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you guys looking for in a game? I guess I don't know, but. Yeah, I think it's great. It's really fun. My girlfriend was immediately like, I want to get this for the boys for Christmas, or her nephews. And I was like, they only have an Xbox, so they can't play it.
Womp, womp,
womp, womp. Score one for PlayStation again. But, yeah.
I am glad to see Little Big Planet back.
It's so good.
Me too, yeah. How would you compare it to Astro's Playground?
Okay, so I haven't played Astro's Playroom. That's on PS5, and I didn't play the VR bot. Thomas, did you play Astro's Playroom yet on your PS5?
No, I have not.
I don't even know why you have one.
I was about to say, why'd you not buy one then?
Hey,
well, you better give me that.
I told you, Lizzie's the one who won the PS5 through the lottery, so really, it's her system.
Did Lizzie play Astrobot? She could let us know how she feels about that.
Oh no, she went straight into Miles Morales.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've heard great things about Astrobot as well, and I guess for people that were playing PS5, they're like, Astrobot is the way, and Little Big Planet's just okay. But for someone who's just playing on PS4 and doesn't have Astrobot, I think it's fantastic, and it's kind of amazing that we're getting a lot of these really, really solid mascot platforming games. They do a lot of fun stuff in Astrobot. You're not doing too much of the same thing. They kind of do a good job of mixing things up, and then you start discovering and figuring things out more. I remember when Devin discovered a secret path to an orb. She was like, "Oh my god, I would never have found that. I just fell down here and started walking this way, and look, it's there." It's exactly what you want from any of those type of games, and it's great. More people should play that game.
Cool. And that's Big Sack Adventure.
Big Ball
that's
Sack
Cyberpunk.
Adventure. Sack Boys Big Adventure.
Sack Boys Big Adventure.
I did pop one more thing in here since I had three things where I had Cyberpunk, but we kind of tied them in together, Carlos.
Oh, tell us more about that.
I played a demo for a game on Steam called Echo Generation, which just had my favorite video game song I've heard in a very, very long time. called Walking Around Town. It's on Spotify and YouTube. It is amazing. I could not stop listening to it. I listen to it every day. But the game is cool. It's almost like Minecrafty pixels. Like, what do you call that?
Oh, the voxels?
Voxels. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, but it's an RPG. It's kind of like a mixture of Stranger Things and the South Park games. So it's like Stranger Things, like you're a bunch of teenagers. Something weird's going on in town. Got to figure that out. You have a party. There's aliens and stuff. But the combat is more like South Park. But the original one, not the newest one where it was like on a grid and you moved around.
Like Paper Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, like you have to time the button
Thank you,
presses.
Carlos.
Yes. You have to time the button presses. I do wish that stuff was a little cooler. Like the combat needs to have a little something else to it because it just felt like I was just going through the motions. It didn't feel like there was a challenge at all. It is a demo, but the music is incredible. It's by an artist called Pusher that I'm not familiar with, but the whole soundtrack, or at least the demo soundtrack, is up on Spotify and YouTube. It's fantastic. So I just wanted to shout that out. Check out
and
that heat.
Demo is available on Game Pass.
The demo's available on Game Pass?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
I mean, what's not it now? Like, you saw the awards. It was just like,
Yes,
this
like
available now,
everything.
this available now, available now.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is over. This is inundation. I don't like it. So much backlog.
Yeah, Game Pass just keeps adding. Shout out to Greedfall. If you're not playing Cyberpunk and want to play an RPG, that game is interesting. Check that out. Our party topic for today is the Gabe Awards. Not who won. You can go find that info elsewhere, or you can watch our reaction stream VOD on twitch.tv/partyinviteshow. But we're going to talk about all the big announcements that we're excited for. Do you guys just want to run down this thing, or do you guys just want to go to each one of us and kind of pick out a few?
We could round robin it until we're out of stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think so.
Devi, what are you excited for?
Wow, me first? Okay, just gonna put me out. Like, all right, cool. Well, as someone who's been waiting for like the Left 4 Dead series to have another installment for like the last ever, because I'm in love with Rochelle and I want to see where she goes and I want to see what happens. Even though she's not going to be, as far as I know, in this new installment, Back 4 Blood is like something I'm really, really excited about. That trailer was so cool.
Yes.
And disgusting, but cool. It was like a Mortal Kombat sort of cool, you know, where it's like I like what I'm watching, but I'm also disgusted. Like,
Lizzie's reaction when I was rewatching, she was like, "Why does it have to be so disgusting?" I'm like,
It's
"Yeah,
zombies.
It's zombies. And it's so weird because I'm so sick of zombies. I hate zombies as a genre, and that happened in every Call of Duty. It's so boring. All the zombie movies when those came out were so dull, and you knew what was going to happen, except for Train to Busan. Please watch that movie.
Great movie.
Like all of the Walking Dead was like a big thing for a while, and I like The Walking Dead. Sure, it had good story, but then it went away from the zombies and actually focused on the characters, and that's what I really liked about it. But Left 4 Dead has always just had a special place in my heart, and I'm really excited about Back 4 Blood because it's really capturing all of the stuff that I really liked about the Left 4 Dead series, and then like elevating it. So I'm really looking forward to see what they do with that. Scavengers is something I'm really interested in. We all got the like alpha nonsense or whatever, and I played a little bit of it, but I didn't really have time at the time to like immerse myself into it. Now that the closed beta's out, I'm really looking forward to devoting more time to it and really getting to the nitty gritty of it and seeing what it has to provide, because it's like PvEVP, so like there's a battle royale element to it,
Right.
But also it's not like the main focus. It's kind of like the cycle,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it
Yeah,
normal for a developer to say that you can't stream the closed beta? I feel like I know that's
It's getting
closed,
there.
but
It's typical. It's typical.
Okay.
Especially like the very first closed beta, because that's still when it's like if it's fresh out of alpha, there's still a lot of things that might be changing, majorly in the future.
yeah.
So even though we aren't going to be allowed to record or stream or anything like now, maybe the next wave or whatever, because it goes to the 21st. It started yesterday, the 10th, and it goes to the 21st. So I think once people get used to the idea of the game and how they feel about it, they'll probably open it up to like public reception and be like, oh, okay, well, what does the general public think about the game? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because not everyone's going to have the means to actually play the game in the closed beta while it's still under construction. And so when it becomes available to stream and stuff, that's how those people will get the information that they need. So that's going to be really cool.
I feel like I see a lot of streamers like playing a beta and they'd be like, hey, I have beta keys. If you want them, let me know. Like that's something I see a lot. So I was just kind of surprised that they kind of mandated you can't record it, you can't stream it out. It seems like for one that's like kind of getting off the ground, that they might want a little more help getting the word out. But if it's not ready,
what better word than the Game Awards, though?
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Something else that I'm really excited about is Shady Part of Me.
Oh,
It
yeah.
had very, very heavy Limbo vibes, and I loved Limbo.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what kind of puzzles are going to be involved with like the shadow of yourself. If it's anything like, I anticipate it's going to be something like what's it called? A Link Between Worlds, where you go between the different dimensions and you have to interact with the world that way to get to where you're going.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of clever ways they implement the physics behind that.
Yeah, and that's out now, I believe, on the Epic Games Store. I think I saw that today.
Is it really out now?
Yeah, that was one of the ones that was like, hey, it's out now.
Okay.
Just
Well, I guess
download that
world
real quick.
premiere. World premiere.
Carlos, did you have anything that you were looking forward to
Yes.
out of all those huge announcements? There was a lot. It was kind of hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
So many.
I am down for Back for Blood as well, Debbie. Whenever you're ready,
Down
whenever
for
the
Back
game is
for
ready.
Blood.
Down
Yes.
for it, back for it.
That's gonna be so freaking fun. It wasn't my biggest thing, but it's near the top of my list of most wanted games of 2021. That's Nier Replicant. We got a different version of Nier over here on PS3 to start off the franchise, and as Thomas knows, I went absolutely fucking insanely crazy head over heels over Nier Automata.
He liked it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a smidge.
I played like I think I played 30 hours within 1 week
Oh,
My
wow.
goodness.
of that game
Damn.
because I had to get through the five major endings, and knowing that Nier Replicant it was referenced many times towards the end of Automata, as well as reading way too much of the wiki of the original, the Japanese version. It's just so much story. It's very cool, and it's one of those prequels that I never really expected to want, but Automata was smooth.
It's very good.
It was just so satisfying, and I want to see that back again. It looks like they took the recipe from Automata and just applied it to Replicant. Now it's going to be amazing. Definitely Endless Dungeon, and
Absolutely Endless Dungeon.
all of the super artistic indie titles. I'm so proud that everybody brought something to the table in those announcements yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
But especially Open Roads.
Oh my
Annapurna
gosh.
always brings out great stuff, but Open Roads might be that next big indie for
And-
next year.
And that's Fulbright Company. So they did Tacoma and
Yep.
What was their other big one? Gone Home? That's right. Yes, Gone Home. They do the walking sim story heavy
Mhm.
ones. But that looks great. It looks hand drawn. It's that the fact that Annapurna is putting it out, it's probably going to be
Oh, yeah.
really, really great.
Yeah, I played through Tacoma this year, so it's going to be fresh in my mind. If you want a beautiful character-based game, like, just stick with that. That's exactly what you're going to get with Open Roads. Besides that, I loved everything I saw. But
Yeah, honestly, it's so hard to pick from the list because it's just everything looked so good and I want it all. And my
There
wallet
were
is
so
so
many
sad.
beautiful shots.
And we can go around to after the ones that we were like super into. We can go back around and be like, just shout out to this one and this one and this one. We could do that as well. Thomas, what are you stoked about?
I'm definitely here for that open roads game. My mom is super cool, and the idea of a game that's about going on a road trip with your mom, basically treasure hunting, sounds pretty dope. So I'm into that. That dragon game, Age of Ashes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, the actual gameplay itself, like, it seems really cool. It doesn't seem like the kind of game I would normally play, but it looks so gorgeous, and it's all gameplay stuff. It's not trailer footage that we were seeing. It wasn't CGI footage. So I mean, I just want to buy that just for the visuals, just so I could look at it.
I'm excited about Star Fox Dragons.
Yeah. Doing barrel rolls and all this.
So that game I couldn't think of yesterday when I said PS3 Dragon game. It wasn't Panzer Dragoon. It's a game called Lair.
Oh yeah.
Which I believe was like a PS3 launch game or something like that.
Yeah, that was a launch title.
It was all dragon air combat style, but that game, what's it called? Century Ages something.
Age of Ashes.
Yeah, Century Age of Ashes.
Age of Ashes. Not a great name, but the game looks cool. The game looks really, really, really cool.
It just looks so beautiful. Like, looking at that, that was one of the very first things we saw once the actual award show officially started.
Yeah.
I think, Chris, you said it. You were like, that looks like a next-gen game. And yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get beautiful-looking PC games all the time. You don't need a new generation of consoles to do that. But I am really excited to be able to play a game like that on my couch. That looks cool. So open roads, dragon game, and then honestly, the new Among Us map looks pretty dope.
It does.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that, and I am. Oh, you know what? Okay, there wasn't a reveal for this, but Phasmophobia won like best debut, I think, at the awards. And between Phasmophobia, which is made by one dude, and that's his very first game, having the success he's had there, and the Among Us team here 2 years after that game was actually released, having all the success it has now, I'm really excited for what those two games continue to churn out, because those have been my two favorite multiplayer experiences of 2020. I've had great like Apex time and stuff, but I said last night that I've met more people in 2020 because of Among Us than any other thing, period.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to just keep jumping back into the game every once in a while and making new friends. Same with Phasmophobia. Now that they just have like a waterfall of money coming at them, I'm looking forward to new maps. Like if all those games do is come out with a new map every 6 months or something, perfect. That's all I want. Yeah, and you guys hit most of the other stuff. I'm excited about that. Endless Dungeon looks really great.
Fantastic.
We got a release date for the one where the woman goes on the alien planet and dies.
Returnal from Housemarque.
Returnal. Yeah, and I love that name.
Returnal.
Even though I can't remember. Yeah, that was March like 21st or 19th or something you just said.
Yeah.
And
that's a PlayStation exclusive as well.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, Carlos.
Fight people for that game.
Yeah, there's just so much pretty stuff.
Yes.
Last night. Yeah.
I have a few things here that I wanted to throw out there. The Initiative are working on Perfect Dark, which we just got a cinematic for, but it does look really promising. I just want to see what they do with it. Like, can't wait to see more. Basically, like, show me. Like, next time I see that, there better be some gameplay, and they better not tell me it's 10 years from now that you'll see this, or whatever.
Well, it seems like that game
February
is very
2022.
far.
Like,
Dude, I'd be surprised if it's
It very
even
well
that
could be.
early.
But the initiative have been working on this game for a long time.
For at least 2 years.
Yeah.
mhm.
So they've
Maybe
they've been working on it for a while. And depending on the size and scale of the game, like, it could be a lot more time for them to work on it. But I feel like that's late 2021. Well, maybe not 2021, since now that we know that Halo is coming out then.
Mhm.
Maybe summer, or at the latest, I think early 2022. But
I'd say 2022. I can't imagine that coming out in 2021, to be honest.
they've been working on it for a while.
could be wrong.
Though. That's the thing. Another one that I'm pretty excited for is It Takes Two, the co-op relationship game from Hazelight, which is
Yes.
the Fuck the Oscars guy from
Oh, yeah.
Game Awards past. What was that other co-op game that they made that I can't think of now?
They're escaping the prison. It's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One Way Out, is that what it is?
Oh,
I think so.
it's something A Way
I know
Out.
what you're
or
talking
A
something.
Way Out.
It's
That's
A
it.
Way Out, yeah.
That's it. Nailed it, Thomas. Good job.
Thanks, guys.
It Takes Two looks fantastic. It looks like a great
Yeah.
something to play with a significant other, because it's about saving a relationship. It looks super cute and adorable and a lot of fun. And Thomas, you mentioned it last night when we were watching it. You were just like, this is a great trailer for a co-op game, like showing you exactly why it's co-op and why you need to play together.
Yeah,
Very good.
because it's so common to see a trailer for a co-op game where when you play the game, it's so much fun, but it's really hard to illustrate that because a lot of the fun happens on your couch, or there are specific moments in the game that make you just ooh and ah.
Right.
But you never see those in trailers. Like it makes co-op games less accessible because people who are less serious about gaming can't see that appeal
Right.
because it doesn't make it obvious.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really think that was one of the best co-op trailers I've seen in a long time. Yeah, I mean,
it's
I hope the
fantastic.
game is really good, but I hope we
Same.
just see more trailers that are designed like that.
Yes. Yeah, it was great. And of course, they use the song "It Takes Two" in the trailer, which also I think helped it a lot. It's just a great presentation for that game.
So endearing.
Yes, very endearing. Something that we don't know anything about really, except that it's Korean. Crimson Desert.
Oh my god.
Very,
Yes.
very shiny game. I could have sworn I was like, oh, this has got to be related to Black Desert in some way, but Black Desert is from China, right?
That sounds right.
I do believe so.
And this game is from Korea, South Korea, I believe. But they didn't really tell us anything about what the game was. There was just some incredible looking shots, some great action sequences. So there was gameplay in that. But
Black
yeah,
Desert Online is
supposedly
developed by a
next year.
Korean studio.
Korean studio. Yeah.
There you
Oh.
go.
Mhm. Yeah, Pearl Abyss is their name.
Oh, see, that's the same. That's the same people.
Okay. so
Okay.
yeah.
So it is. It
That
is
makes sense. Yeah, it
something to
makes
do
sense.
with that. Yeah. It. Wow. It looked great. But it may be something like with Black Desert, where I'm like, man, that looks cool, and I just never touch it. Could be one of those, but it did look neat.
It did look neat. It showed a whole lot of different types of, like, at first it was like, oh, this game is an open world, like, beautiful scenery kind of game, like maybe with some For Honor looking combat, sword and shield and stuff. And then it shows a bunch of interesting looking dialogue scenes, and then you're flying around on a dragon, and then I think you're like destroying a fort or something.
Yeah. There was the fort, the castle or fort or whatever they were taking, like chunks of it where there was like real time damage, almost like what you would see in like not in Battlefield anymore, but older
like a red
Battlefields.
faction or something.
Yeah, where it was like chunks of the wall were getting taken out when they were hitting it with a trebuchet.
Yeah, it looked. It was also the trailer was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but it just kept
it's
showing
super long.
different types of mechanics and scenes.
I
Yeah,
really do like
I
and like how varied everything was. The people, the backgrounds, the combat, everything just looked so fleshed out and also at the same time like cohesive.
Right. Yeah, I think.
Okay,
yeah,
so-
it really gave a good sense of scale, which I think is the whole point of that game.
Yes.
But yeah, they didn't really say anything about it because in part there's no dialogue, presumably because the dialogue would be in Korean and it hasn't been translated.
Yeah.
Or voice captured maybe. So really we can only go off the visuals, but sure looked great.
Yeah. Carlos, did you have something?
I was just gonna add that looking at this article here, I didn't realize that Black Desert was so freaking popular. Honestly, 40 million
it's like
players,
a whole
and
phenomenon.
they made over $2 billion in revenue. So yeah, this is the
Whoa.
biggest budget game they could have come up with. That's why it's so striking.
Right. It could be really cool. So that's something to keep an eye out on whenever it comes around. There's also a great artistic indie that looked like it was also a PlayStation exclusive called Season. Looks very cool. That was the one where the girl was riding her bike. Man, that game looked striking is a good word for the art style in that.
Yeah.
Looked really, really good. And then there was one more that I almost forgot about, and then I was rewatching our stream from last night, kind of skipping around and watching some things. Road 96 from the team behind Valiant Hearts, which is an excellent Ubisoft art game about World War One,
baby.
Oh my god, such a great game that people were always looking for maybe a sequel to or something like that, but I think it's its own little thing. But that team, and they worked on something else too, or some of the team did. But they're making this new, looks like adventure game. It looks super cool. I just don't know how to describe it. Check out a trailer for Road 96. It looks very cool.
You know, I'm going to use this chance because it never comes up.
Yeah.
I really like Valiant Hearts.
Yes.
And I always thought when I was playing it, I was like, this would be a really good game if I was a history teacher
Yes.
to give this as like extra credit because it's a quality game. The important thing about an educational game is it needs to be fun first and educational second, because people aren't going to learn anything if they aren't having fun playing it. They won't keep playing it. But yeah, if somebody's hearing this and you want to buy a game for your kid or something like that, that's like a quality game that they'll actually learn something from, and is beautiful enough that you could watch them play it and really enjoy it. So that's Valiant. The Great War.
I didn't catch the Road 96 is procedural.
It's procedural?
That's extra cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so everybody's road trip is going to be different.
Wow.
That's super cool. Love that.
That is a trip.
One that I want to give a shout out to, that's a game that's been out, but Disco Elysium, the final cut.
Oh, yeah. Carlos, I can't wait to watch you play that.
Oh my god, I'm going to play so hard.
Free update for PC, adding more people to talk to, more items, more things like that. And it's being released on PS5 and PS4 as well. That game fucking rules. It is a CRPG with no combat, and all of the checks are speech-based. It is such a cool game. It is. That's a game I received for review, and because my podcast, Look Who's Talking About, was only audio, I always ask for, hey, can you send me a song from the game so I can put underneath to make it make sense, so it's just not me just talking about a game, because it'd be a very boring review that way. They're like, yeah, no, we can't. We have a deal with a record label that will not allow us to give out any of the music. and I was just like,
Whoops.
well,
that's
I
unfortunate.
can't do anything with this because at the time I was only doing audio stuff. I was like, I can't really do anything with this. But that was a game that I had no business as such a small creator getting a code for. And I played it on my laptop, which is not a great gaming laptop at all. But it ran and it totally worked. It was
Chris,
great.
you are the reason why they have to be like, all right, how many followers do you have on YouTube?
Hey,
You're like, I am small, innocent man.
I literally was messaging the PR person, and they said, how many things do you have? And I was like, oh, well, it's not great. I'm just starting out, really. And they're like, no problem. Here you go. So they knew ahead of time
I mean, shoot your
what
shot.
the deal was.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but also the fact that no content ever came from it, I'm sure they were like, well, this sucks. And I'm like, I told you I was audio only and I needed music. Sorry. Anywho's, that's that. But there's a great collector's edition for it on IM8-bit that looks super cool. I don't think I'm going to buy it because I don't buy collector's edition stuff, but it looks amazing. Any other...
Are you saying you're going to miss out on a vinyl or something?
Yeah, it's like a
I'm sure there's
vinyl.
one.
It's a vinyl, a little statue of some of the thoughts.
Well, I mean, now that
so
they have
cool.
the vinyl, you can do your review.
Yeah, I probably could. With the final cut, I could. Well, now we could. You know, we could do it on our channel because we could actually make like a little a video review or something.
There's still time.
There's
Hell
still
yeah.
time.
Still time.
Yeah, and I didn't have a website to write a review for to put it in there. So that game is also getting into that game is very difficult to review it, and I realized it as I was playing. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to review this. This is really hard to describe what's happening here. But yeah, that game is a lot of fun, and I'm
Chris,
looking forward to that coming out.
I feel like there's a joke in here somewhere where basically your experience of trying to review the game was like a side quest of Disco Elysium, where it was you being like,
Very meta.
yeah, like you message them and you're like, man, my stats are really low, but I gotta go for this.
Yeah.
And they're like, you did it, and you're like, all right, now I need music, and they're like, you failed that check.
You failed that check.
Yeah.
You didn't have the licensing agreement, so can't do that. But what's odd about that, and which doesn't make sense to me, is I could have, if I was a YouTuber, I could have recorded gameplay, and that would have the music underneath it as I was doing the review, and that's fine. But getting just the song is not fine. Like, that doesn't make any
Creative
sense.
Commons.
That is
Yeah.
silly as hell. Anyway, moving on from that. Anybody else got some stuff they want to shout out from these announcements?
I mean, do you have the time?
I think we got time.
I'm actually really looking forward to Scarlet Nexus. You know,
Bandai
much.
Namco.
I love me some like freaking anime action-packed super hack and slashy goodness. You know, that's why I really liked Genshin Impact. It's why I like Astral Chain. It's why I like Daemon X Machina. Like, it's
It's right
a
up
very
there with
good
those.
itch to scratch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that for sure. The Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection thing is super cool.
Oh yeah.
Because it's bringing the game to a new audience who may have never played it before, don't have the means to right now.
Right.
And it's just, I'm so glad they're doing something with Arthur. He was one of my favorite characters, like, of the SNES generation. Because I only played Super Ghosts and Goblins. I didn't play Ghosts and Goblins for the NES.
Isn't he in Smash?
No.
No.
He's not?
No.
Weird.
May have been a trophy
But
at some point.
He
But-
is in Capcom versus Marvel versus Capcom.
That's what it is.
He and Firebrand are both in those games. You can also play. I'm pretty sure you can play Ghosts and Goblins and Super Ghosts and Goblins on the Switch Virtual Console. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, there you
At
go.
the very
If-
least, Super
yeah.
Ghosts and Goblins, yeah.
Yeah. If people miss that, they can do that there before the Resurrection comes out.
And alongside that, they announced the arcade stadium, which I think is going to be pretty cool. They didn't really say a lot about it. It
Yeah,
just showed
I'm
a
not
whole bunch
sure.
of like arcade games, and I'm wondering if it's going to be anything like the NES remix sort of thing. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like a virtual console for like old Capcom games. We'll see.
Yeah, or maybe like a
Oh,
collection.
and Monster Hunter Rise. Speaking of Capcom, Monster Hunter Rise. Oh my gosh. Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yes. We're going to have a whole lot of Monster Hunter Rise over the next couple months anyway. Thank you,
Yes,
Nintendo.
yes. I'm
uh,
equipped.
let's see. I saw. I just had it pulled up. The Warhammer game looks cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always down for a 4-player co-op game. I only played Left 4 Dead back in the day at a friend's house when we would have LAN parties, so I never got really good at it, but I really had a good time. I liked watching Vermintide gameplay, but I never played it myself because I didn't own a PC at that point. I don't think I did anyway. But yeah, this I mean, it looks like a Warhammer game, and I mean, if we had a squad for it, I'd definitely play that. We saw the Evil Dead game, which
Yes,
has
that's
enough
what I was gonna say.
goofy charm to it.
Yeah.
I don't. I haven't really been captured by Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th. Those just kind of missed me.
Yeah.
But this seems to be close enough to those, but also far enough away that I think I'm here for it. Same thing. It looks multiplayer. It looked like a 4-player-ish game
Right.
Mhm.
with a fun sense of humor and all this stuff. I mean, it's Evil Dead. With also some like traumatizing horror in there, much like the movie. So that looks cool. And then, of course, we're going to see more Mass Effect at some point. We already knew that, but it was just nice to see another trailer for that. Lizzie just recently beat Mass Effect 3 for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's all fresh on the brain. Never played Andromeda. Probably won't. But
Don't. Don't do it.
yeah, I hope this new one is better. But I can't believe this isn't the only thing we've talked about. Arc 2 starring Vin Diesel.
Oh God.
Man.
Okay, we joke, but at the same time, I was oddly intrigued by that trailer.
Me too. I was like, I couldn't wait to find out what it was that they were showing. I was like, I really want to know what this is. And you know what? As soon as they brought up the technology and like the prehistoric setting, we should have known. But like they had me all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I was just like, what is this game? And then it was just like Arc 2 with Vin Diesel for the family. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And accompanying animated TV series.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
So I'm here for that.
That's
Always
interesting.
down for something animated.
It's one of those situations that like I knew about Arc when it was first coming up, and I was like, I would like to play it, but I also don't want to pay for early access because that sucker was early access forever, and then it hits every single console. It flounders on the Switch, and I don't necessarily want to play its current version, but Arc 2, the trailer was enough, I think.
And Ark's a survival game, right? So there's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're into building bases and collecting 200 of 200 stone to make a thing, that's your game. That's one of those. I had a buddy that played that, and Justin, who works at Record Bar with me, and he would always be like, "Oh man, last night we got raided, and our base was destroyed." And I was like, "That sounds horrible. That sounds like not at all what I want to do." Like put a bunch of time into building something up, and then somebody just coming by and just destroying it does not sound like exciting stuff for me. And it's not free to play, so you have to pay for it, right? And then I'm sure there's other.
I think you buy the game. There's not a subscription or anything though. But
No.
yeah, it's not a free to download game.
Right.
Right.
But there's a bunch of expansions, right? There's been multiple of those that are all paid, I believe. It just seems like there's a barrier to entry there that I'm just not ever gonna be on board for.
Yeah, I think it checks the marks for a lot of the old Rust players and
Right.
the people who like those games really like those games. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people who I never expected, who I never hear talk about games really, say that Ark was the game that they wanted me to play, and I'm just like, okay,
All right.
like
Yeah.
that intrigues me enough because I mean, it sounds to me like it's a barrier to entry because the loss can be so devastating,
Right.
but they liked it, so there must be something to it. I've never played a
That
game
story,
like that.
that story that you told, Chris, reminds me of this episode of I think it was Mission Hill. If you've ever seen that show on Adult Swim, but it was like Andy and gosh, I can't remember the name of the other brother, but Andy was like super obsessed with this game, and his friend like was trying to pull him away from it, and so his friend ended up like building a player in the game stronger than Andy's character and invading his kingdom and destroying everything, and then they got into like a really huge like in real life fight about it, and it was actually really funny, but it was also kind of sad. But that I don't know, it reminded me about that.
Dude, I had a friend who in college he went to school down at Columbia at Mizzou, and he worked. He was a pizza delivery guy, and so he was in the store one night, and his manager's doing stuff over here on the side, but this other employee is bragging to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I used to hack people's Minecraft servers. I would basically break into their server and then burn everything down."
Oh my god.
And my friend who's never played Minecraft, he's just like, "Well, that sounds horrible."
Terrible.
Like that, because I mean, he and I used to play like RuneScape and stuff together. So like the thought of like losing permanently the things that you've been working on is devastating. There's time and money put into that, and the manager heard that, walked over, and was just like, "Did I just hear you say you break into Minecraft servers and just burn everything down?" "Yeah, that's what I said." "Okay, well, you can go home for the night. Don't come back tomorrow."
Oh my
Damn.
goodness.
I don't think he
He's
fired
savage.
him, but he straight up was just like, "Get
Go
out
home.
of my sphere." Yeah. And I'm like, damn, dude, good for that guy though, because like that is
Yeah,
a
for
terrible
sure.
thing to do. So for like the manager to understand what that meant and put his foot down to be like, "Yeah, I'm punishing you for this. Like you can't."
You might be a sociopath.
Right. If you came in here bragging
Exactly.
that you like broke into a store, yeah, that's bad. So
That is
yeah,
bad.
I just. But yeah, I wonder if that guy lost his job because breaking into Minecraft.
So 2 things I'm really surprised that haven't come up in our discussion of things they're excited for. Sephiroth
Ah,
in Smash. I'm surprised neither of you, because you guys were both geeking out real hard when that was happening in real time. So I'm
that
surprised
was real nice.
that's something you're not excited. I guess that's not new. Well, it is new. Like that character's new.
It
but
is new, yeah. But they're
Yeah.
always adding someone or another to Smash Bros. You know, it's just like once the initial announcement happens, it's just like, oh, that's a thing that happened.
Mhm.
It's there.
Right.
Yeah.
I
And-
thought what I thought was really cool about the trailer is that it was basically just references to Advent Children. It was like almost shot
Yeah.
for shot referencing to Advent Children, which I thought was a really cool cinematographic decision. I thought it was really neat that they did that.
Yeah, they know
no-
how to go hard on the cinematic side and bring all the feels back. Like some people were on Twitter taking so many hilarious screenshots of what they were referencing, like frame by frame. It's so
Mhm.
great.
Oh, that's cool.
The other one,
Well, the last thing. Oh, Chris, I already know. You don't even have to say it. Whooper Watch. We all did we all catch Whoopers on Pokemon Go?
Whoop
Or let-
the mirror.
let- Yeah.
I definitely did not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ruined King, a League of Legends story. They
yeah.
showed gameplay for the League of Legends single-player game. It looked interesting. It'd be cool to see them do some other things besides the MOBA.
I was still trying to think. I can't think of the name of the game that it reminds me of, the combat. Because, you know, it has like the Diablo overworld exploration sort of vibe going on. And then you enter the combat, and it reminds me a lot of this indie game that had like the same kind of combat. It was
Oh yeah,
called
you were talking Battle
something.
Chasers.
Is it Battle Chasers?
Battle
Thank
Chasers,
you.
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. It reminded me of Battle Chaser.
Yeah.
So that's really intriguing, and I'm always down for some more Riot game lore. You know, as people may not know, I am obsessed with KDA. So I'm just here. I won't touch League for a long time coming, but I'm here for the lore behind it. So if they expand on that, I'm good.
Yeah.
Could be really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it for our party topic. Thomas, do you have our community spotlight ready?
I sure do. Our community spotlight this week is Brad Giesler. I sure hope I'm saying his name correctly.
That sounds right.
Because I'm saying it phonetically. I'm going to read what he's got here. He streams on Twitch. He is an active member in our Facebook community, which you can find on Facebook. It's just called Party Invite. It's the name of our page, also the name of our group. He sent me a little ditty here. It says, "Hello, I'm Brad, a.k.a. Brawly. I've been a gamer as long as I can remember, stretching back to the dark ages of a hand-me-down Atari 2600.
Ooh, shit.
I have matured, though, into the hashtag PC Master Race.
Uh-oh.
I love games because you can experience an infinite amount of worlds, meet people, make friends, and forge your own virtual destiny. Also, you can frag some noobs, too. So I appreciate that. We've got all these questions, the usual 10 questions that we send to our potential community spotlights. That will go live on Monday when you're hearing this, hopefully.
Nope.
But you can find him on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Brawley Games. That's BRAWLEY Games. He plays
Good
Apex. He just recently streamed Cyberpunk 2077, which is a video game that came out this year.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, we should talk about it sometime.
I agree.
So check him out. He's really helpful on Facebook. He knows a whole lot about PCs, and anytime anybody's ever piped up asking a PC question, he's always right there to answer it. In fact, I got to reach out to him. On Thursdays, we're starting to do a feature where we're going to provide some information that's useful as a creator and just a viewer or a consumer or a player. And we mentioned, somebody asked about cables. They were like, how do I get better at cable management in my desk? And he basically was like, alrighty, let's get down to business, which I really appreciated. So I'm going to get his help doing that in the future. He's also the reason that I found this webcam that I'm using at Costco, because he shouted that out. So that was pretty cool.
Very nice.
So thanks, Brad, for being our community spotlight. Go follow him on Twitch. Hopefully I'll get to play some Apex with him. He plays Apex with his wife a lot, and they both are really good. Occasionally they'll post stats, and I'm like, damn. Yeah, so...
you just go ahead and be
goals.
the third wheel.
That's goals.
Yeah, yep. I'll get carried. So yeah, if you want to be a candidate for our community spotlight, DM one of us, preferably me, or you can drop something in our Discord. But yeah, we're doing this every week.
Devi, do you want to know, or do you want to let all the people know where they can follow us at?
Yeah, so if you go to our link tree, which is linktr.ee/partyinvite, you'll find all of our platforms that you can listen to us and watch us on there at that location. Feel free to follow us on Spotify, which you can have all of our audio podcasts on.
Mm-hmm.
On YouTube, please subscribe because we have a whole bunch of video content, including this podcast, where you can watch us, run around like chickens with their head cut off in video games, which is super cool.
Yay.
We also have a Twitch, twitch.tv/partyinvite show, which we can then, provide us some more live streams for you guys, like we did for the Game Awards, the Video Game Awards. Really cool. Yeah. Oh, also Apple Music, but that didn't come to mind because I have an Android device. So
same. Quick shout out, really quick, before we get out of here, to Crane Brewing, being very cool and teaming up with us for the Extra Life event. Like we said before, Wednesday the 16th through Friday the 18th, you can go pick up a 4-pack of their delicious bevies for $10 with our sweet Party Invite logo on it, and some suspect colors. And watch the stream on Saturday and join us, have some fun with us, donate to a good cause. But that's going to do it for our episode this week. We will see everyone next time.
bye.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.